Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode of Getting Wild and Flying High, free NHL and MLB picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down the Sunday slate, which I will jump right into now. I will have a recap of what happened over the weekend and the best bet segment um, on Monday for our Monday show. But I will obviously discuss what happened on Friday night in the four NHL games that I'll be talking about here for Sunday. Starting with this first one here, the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. Carolina anywhere from minus 108 to plus 108. The New York Islanders minus 116 to minus 133. Fives and five and a halves available here in this game. I took the Islanders in game three, their first game at home here. Uh, Basically, because I saw them bouncing back after the first two losses. Game two was an overtime loss, and the Islanders have not played horribly this series. They played pretty well overall. Um, Getting home for game three, they got the win. It was close throughout, but they pulled away at the end of the game. Carolina continues to struggle on the road. I believe 0-7 in their last seven road playoff games. Um, I don't think the Islanders come back here and tie the series up. I think the Islanders ties this series up, so I'm going to take them here on the money line. Best price is minus 116. I'd play it up to minus 120, minus 125. Probably want to go past minus 125 personally. That's probably about my limit here. But I like the Islanders to tie up the series here against the Carolina Hurricanes. The second game for Sunday is the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers. Boston minus 143 to minus 163. Florida Panthers plus 120 or plus 115 to plus 135. Sixes and six and a halves across the board here in this one. I stayed off the game three of this series with the Bruins getting a 4-2 win against the Panthers here. Um, and for this game, while I was looking at Boston in regulation, because that would be in my price range, it is the playoffs, and I don't want to get burned taking Boston money or Boston in regulation and having them go to overtime and win. So I am going to take Boston money line in a two-team parlay with another team that we will get to here shortly in the NHL plus money two-team parlay. Boston money line is the first leg of that. That's the best way I can go in this game here. Could Florida tie it up 2-2 or yeah 2-2? They could. But based on what I saw in game three, I think Boston continues to have the lead in this series against the Panthers. Moving on along to the third game here, Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. Dallas anywhere from minus 102 to plus 103. Minnesota minus 114 to minus 125. Five and a halves right across the board here in this game. Minnesota with a dominating 5-1 win against the Dallas Stars in game three, where home ice was a huge factor for the Wild. Um, and I don't even want to say that Gustafsson um, Gustafsson didn't have that much work to do because the Wild played so well in front of him. But he did his job. The Wild did their job. Really scrappy, exactly the type of win they need at home. And now they're here once again. Dallas got their win against Fleury. They have not really been able to solve Gustafsson. Um, it's going to be Gustafsson in this. Everson's not going to switch back to Fleury here, not with the 2-1 lead here and how Gustafsson has played. So for me, it is Minnesota money line. I like this spot for them here at home to take a 3-1 series lead. Gustav Nyquist to get a point. I've been going on and on about it. And 5 straight games. All 5 games he's played for Minnesota, he has a point in. So I'm going to be on his point prop. Don't have the price right now because player props are not up. And I will be on his assist prop for plus money as well. And maybe parlaying wild money line with Nyquist point, as I did um, in game 3, which also cashed. So that's how I'm going to be looking at it here. I like the Wild here in game 3 or in game 4 here. Moving on to the fourth and final game, Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. Edmonton minus 152 to minus 160. LA Kings plus 115 to plus 140. 6.5s right across the board here in this game. I was on LA money line for game 3. And controversial or not, I'm not going to really get into that. But the game's over. The Kings have won. And now we're moving on here to game 4. And I think Edmonton ties the series. This is not a series where I think it's a side that I really like. Um, I think this is a back and forth type series. And I think Edmonton ties it here. Obviously, Edmonton money line minus 152 to minus 160 is not a price that I would lay. So they are the second team of my 2-team parlay. I'm parlaying Boston Bruins money line with the Edmonton Oilers money line, which is plus 176 for those 2 teams. That's how I'm going to target game 4s for those 2 games, taking the 2 favorites, 2 pricey favorites on the money line together. Going on to baseball, the baseball slate. Not a whole lot of plays for me on this Sunday slate, but I will go over what I like, starting with the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. Blue Jays minus 132 to minus 140. Yankees plus 110 to plus 123. 8.5s right across the board here. Gosman against Schmidt for the Yankees. Has been 1-2 with a 3.65 ERA. Clark Schmidt 0-1 with an 8.79 ERA. He has not pitched well for the New York Yankees here. The Yankees coming off a 3-2 win against the Blue Jays, where it was a 0-0 game for a long time and ended up finishing 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th for the Yankees. There's a pitching advantage here with Toronto. I like the Jays money line here. It's right around my cutoff price, but I like a bounce back game here from the Jays. But the bet I like more is Toronto team total over 4.5 minus 110. I think they score 4 runs probably on Schmidt in the first 5. So I like that team total over. I think the Jays can get 5 runs in this game. And I was looking at the over 8.5, but Kikuchi, a really good pitching performance. Manoa, a very good pitching performance. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a good pitching performance from Gosman as well. So I'm not going to go with the over 8.5. I'll take the Jays money line right around my cutoff price, and I will take the Jays team total over 4.5 in this one. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Cincinnati Reds and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cincinnati minus 110 to plus 100. Pittsburgh minus 106 to minus 117. 8.5s right across the board here in this game. Hunter Green against Velasquez for Pittsburgh. Green 0-0 with a 4.24 ERA. Velasquez 2-2 with a 5.12 ERA. The difference, Pittsburgh number 9 against righties. Cincinnati is number 22. And this Pittsburgh team is hot. Obviously, they still have yet to play their Saturday game. But coming into Saturday night, they have continued to play good baseball all season long to this point. They're the better team at home. Yes, maybe Cincinnati has a slight pitching advantage, but slight is the word. Pittsburgh, the overall better team at home. Very nice price for them. So I'm taking them here in this game. San Diego Padres and the Arizona Diamondbacks. San Diego minus 134 to minus 150. Arizona plus 115 to plus 124. Nines and 9.5s available here in this game. Darvish 0-2 with a 3.44 ERA on the mound for San Diego. Jameson for Arizona 2-0 with a 2.25 ERA in this one. And this is a price play for me. This Arizona Diamondbacks team overall has been the better team overall in the season. Darvish against Jameson, I think it's a pretty even split. They're pretty close. Arizona's got the hitting advantage. They're the better team at home. I'm getting plus money on them here. Yes, I think because it's Darvish on the mound, that and because the Padres obviously have Tatis returning and they have all these big bats. Uh, However, it hasn't translated into wins yet to this season. And I'm going to take Arizona as the underdog price. I like them here at home. They're a team I continue to like to back as an underdog. Moving on to the next game, St. Louis Cardinals and the Seattle Mariners. St. Louis minus 113 to minus 132. Seattle plus 100 to plus 105. 8.5s, a couple eights available here. Jack Flaherty 1-2 with a 2.95 ERA for St. Louis. Flexen 0-3 with a 7.79 ERA. He has struggled throughout the season so far. Slight pitching advantage or slight hitting advantage with St. Louis over Seattle. I like Seattle Saturday night, but here on Sunday with Flaherty on the mound against Flexen, I think I do like Seattle. I do like St. Louis. I like switching sides here in this one. St. Louis Cardinals with Flaherty anywhere from minus 113 to minus 125 is the best price in this one. Going and looking at the rest of the slate for the games, I did not go over. Colorado and Philadelphia, Urania against Wheeler. Pitching advantage with Philadelphia, hitting advantage with Philadelphia. Really, all the advantages are with Philadelphia, but I don't like their team total over at 5.5. Run line, the best price is minus 125 for the run line. I just don't like the game enough to pull the trigger there. So it's ultimately a pass. Houston, Atlanta, Javier against Fried. Both pitchers pitching pretty well to start the season. Houston and Atlanta both ranked number 8 against lefties and righties. So really a close hitting stats. Pitchers are pretty close. I think this game's pretty close. I do give the slight advantage to Atlanta, but minus 135 is too pricey for me. I think this should be much closer to a pick 'em. So if anything, it would be Houston, but I think Atlanta wins. So even though the odds, even though I think it's priced incorrectly, I'm not going to take Houston because I do think Atlanta wins. Toronto and the New York Yankees, we went over. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, we went over. Detroit and Baltimore. Rodriguez against Rodriguez. Pitching advantage goes to the Detroit Rodriguez. Hitting advantage goes to the Baltimore Orioles by quite a bit. But I'm not ultimately not getting to this game here. Maybe a lean with Baltimore, but I'm not going to get to it at this price with Detroit having the pitching advantage. Miami and Cleveland. This is my picks and parlays exclusive play of the day. In this game, you can get it in I have a 7-game package up on the site. Use code MLB to get 20% off of that package, and you can get this game, my pick in this game, in that package. Red Sox and Tampa Bay, currently no odds for the game. Giolito against Eflin. I'll be looking at Tampa Bay team total, depending on what the price looks like for that. Tampa Bay number one against righties in baseball, 900 OPS. Uh, Giolito, a pitcher I'm looking to fade. So, depending on what the price is, if I can get 4.5 at a nice price, I'll be taking Tampa Bay team total over. Boston and Milwaukee, Bello against Burns. Advantage Milwaukee, but I don't want to take them on the run line, plus 120. So ultimately staying off there. No numbers in Washington, Minnesota. It is Patrick Corbin on the mound for Washington, but Minnesota's not looked good, and they're in these last quite a few games now. So not a team I want to back here, and I'm ultimately staying off. I'm assuming Minnesota is going to be big favorites as well. So ultimately not a game I want to get to. Dodgers and Cubs. Kershaw against Stroman. LED number 2 against righties. Chicago number 3 against lefties. Both pitchers pitching really well this year. This is a tough game. I think it'll be a great game to watch. But when it comes to a betting perspective, I can't. I don't have anything. I think it's 50-50 split. If anything, I'd be taking the Cubs at the plus money at home, but I'm not going to fade Kershaw. So ultimately, staying off. Oakland and Texas. It is Muller, or hopefully it's Muller and not Mueller, but Muller 0-1, 7.23 ERA for Oakland. DeGrom 1-0 with a 3.48 ERA for Texas. Texas is way too big of a favorite here for me to jump on them. Minus 135 out of my price range for a run line. That is. So ultimately staying off that game. Kansas City and LA Angels. I think the Angels win, but they're minus 183. So ultimately, I'm not getting to anything there either. San Diego, Arizona, we went over. St. Louis, Seattle, we went over. Mets and San Francisco. This one's tough. Pitching advantage goes to the Mets. Um, Hitting advantage when it comes to righties goes to San Francisco. So ultimately, not getting to anything in this game. It's ultimately a pass for me. But that is the slate for Sunday. We will go to the best bet segment here. And I thought about doing a couple different things, and I wasn't really going to choose them again, but I'm going to do it here. Absolutely dominating win by Minnesota in Game 3. While I do think Game 4 is going to be closer, with Gustafson and net, the way the Wild played, the fans, I think the Wild take a 3-1 series lead. So looking at it, they are my best bet. If I could have chose Nyquist to get a point, which I can't choose because the odds are not out for that, that would have probably been my best bet. And then my favorite baseball play is the St. Louis Cardinals with Jack Flaherty on the money line. But if you want to put in your best bet, feel free to put it in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, hit the like button. Appreciate all the support. And we'll be back on Monday tomorrow, or sorry, on Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our live show. Best of luck on your bets on Sunday. Let's all make some money, and we'll see you again for other episodes. Getting Wild and Flying High, free NHL and MLB picks. Best of luck, guys.